I have a story for you that I absolutely love. This is actually a friend's story, so I'm going to be reading some of it. But a friend of mine emailed me the other day and said, really random question, really was in caps. I have no one else to ask this. Does animal communication work with insects as well? I have a really strong feeling it does. I'm always able to communicate with flies, how to get out of the house. So my first response is, wait, you're able to communicate with them and they leave. So why are you asking me? Because people don't trust their own experiences. I mean, you're experiencing it happening apparently more than once. So why don't you believe it? So I answered him, yes, yes, yes. And I told him my experience with mice, not insects, but other critters that you might not expect you could talk to. When I moved from the city into a farmhouse that had been empty for a couple of years, had furniture at all, but the people were out of town. And the kitchen was infested with mice, just the kitchen. And I talked to them and convinced them to leave. I had to show them where they should go. There was a little milk house on the next property, and they left. So I shared that story with him, and he's like, "Oh, cool." And I'm like, "So what did you explain to them? I'm interested in this. Never occurred to me to talk to flies. Although I don't have flies. I have screens on the windows. He lives in Hungary. They may not use screens. I lived in San Francisco for some years, and there were no screens on the windows because there's not many flying bugs. It doesn't get hot enough. There's no mosquitoes or any flies. So maybe that's the situation, but there's flies. So anyway, I asked him what he said, and so I'm going to read you what he said. I'm not even sure. I try to imagine what I say and mean too. Sorry, English is his second language. Like I imagine the way out from their perspective. Do you love this? I imagine the way out from their perspective. I need more information about this. To transmit the meaning and not just with words. So he's doing visualization, imagination. I'm not sure if that makes a difference. Apparently it does, but that's how I usually approach it. And then I explain why it would be good for them to go out, usually mentioning my wife as an example of dangers to them if they stay inside. Smiley face. I mean, is that hilarious? So he's having just an actual conversation. Let me visualize for you. Let me feel it for you. And then let me tell you, if you don't leave, my wife's like going to squish you. So what I do usually is I just open up a way out. And they always, all caps, always go out. Almost right away. Even when they were further away. Or if they had other ways out, but somehow couldn't get out. Then they just come and leave at the place I point them to. So I love this. So apparently there's more than one. Who knows? I got to ask them, what is this fly situation you have? So yes, two things. It works. Animal communication works with all creatures, with all living beings. You can speak. You can speak to trees. You're not going to get them to move, I don't think. But you can definitely speak to all animals. I have a student of mine has a monarch butterfly sanctuary in New Zealand. And she has shared stories of their, not word communication, but their communications where she'll ask one to come. They sit on her, she talks. It's so cool. So 2 short lessons here. First, well, a couple, 3. You can speak to, and he's never had a class. It's just his instinct. Let me just see if I can talk to them. So there's many different ways of communicating. In my classes, we talk about that and play with that. I work in words. I'm a writer. That's probably why I do. He's a visual artist. He's a filmmaker and a tech guy. So he works in images as well as words. So there's many different ways. So that's one thing. But the other thing is trust your experience. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, that's not happening. That's silly. That's a coincidence. He knows it wasn't, but still had to check with me. I'm glad he did. So he knows he's not goofy. So that's the story for today. Yes, you can talk to flies. And if you do, or other insects or other critters, let me know. Drop a note below. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to learn more about my work or my classes, you can check out my website. I am Pam Sorellis at Winged Horse Healing. Talk to you soon.